Hi, beautiful souls. Welcome back to Rainbow Children of the Light. If you're new here, my name is Heather and I support spiritual mums and sensitive children through intuitive healing, higher self guidance, channeling, and soul led parenting support. And today I want to answer one of the most common questions I receive. What actually happens during a children's rainbow recalibration session? Because I know for many parents, especially if you're newer to energy healing or spiritual work, it can feel a little unknown at first. You might be wondering, how can healing work if my child isn't physically present? What actually happens during the session? What do you see energetically? What do parents receive afterward? And how do children respond after the healing? So today I really want to walk you through the process openly and gently so you can understand what these sessions are, how they work, and what parents often experience afterward. And my intention with this episode is to help you feel safe, informed, and connected to whether this resonates for you, your child, and your family. So, what is a children's rainbow recalibration? It's a deeply intuitive healing and guidance session designed to support children emotionally, energetically, and spiritually. Each session is completely unique because every child is unique. No two energetic systems are the same, not any two souls are the same, and children process emotions, stress, overwhelm, and the world around them very differently. Some children are highly emotional, they're emotionally sensitive, some are energetically sensitive, some are carrying anxiety or overwhelm, they don't know how to express verbally. Some children are deeply empathetic and absorb the emotions and energy of all the people around them. And some children just simply feel different from the world around them and they struggle to fully understand why. These sessions are designed to gently support the child's energetic system while also bringing deeper understanding and clarity to the parent. So, what happens during the session? Generally, the sessions combine energetic healing, intuitive channeling, higher self guidance, chakra balancing, emotional energetic support, angelic healing, and quite often there are each child is so different, but lots of different healings that come into whoever is supporting the child. So, by the way that it actually unfolds and looks differently every single time for every single different child. So that's a little bit wishy-washy, I guess, but because it is intuitive and it is the child's spirit team who are guiding the session as well as the healing that I bring through, no two healing sessions are ever the same. But one of the most beautiful things about the sessions is that your child doesn't actually need to be present. Usually they receive the healing while they're sleeping because they're most energetically open when they're sleeping. They're relaxed enough, and it is the time when their spirit team can really bring forth that energy. So, but I always ask and I tune in as to when they're going to receive it to let you know as well. So the sessions are received through divine timing, is what I like to call it. So it just means that the healing flows to your child at the most aligned time energetically for them. And often when I tune into that healing, I'm actually shown that, yeah, they'll receive it while they're sleeping or naturally relaxed. And this is one of the reasons why these sessions can feel very gentle and supportive for children who may actually struggle with appointments or sitting still or being overwhelmed or emotionally, out of sorts. Being present can be really tricky for children. And I know because I have one daughter who is leaping about like beans in a pants, and then the other one is happy to sit on my lap, no problems. So for the one that's sleeping around, trying to get her to sit for longer than 5 minutes in an appointment is just near on impossible. But anyway, so there's no pressure on the child to, sit still or explain their feelings or consciously understand what's happening. The healing simply meets them where they are energetically. At the beginning of the process, I connect briefly with the parent through a short Zoom call. And honestly, this is so important because often parents have been carrying the worry or the confusion or the emotional exhaustion or a feeling that something deeper is happening beneath the surface for their child. And this call gives the parents the opportunity to share any concerns, ask questions, explain what's been happening, and to set the intentions for the session. Sometimes parents share things like, my child is constantly overwhelmed, or they're struggling emotionally at school, they can't switch off at night, they absorb everyone's emotions, they're anxious all the time, they seem emotionally reactive and I don't know how to help. Or sometimes parents simply say, I just feel that my child needs support. And often that intuition is incredibly accurate. As mothers, especially spiritual mothers, we often feel when something is happening beneath the surface long before it becomes visibly external. So after the Zoom call, I then move into the healing and channeling portion privately. This is done on the initial booking time, so you know when the healing is happening, but you don't need to be present and your child doesn't need to be present. You will just know when to expect the report and the voice note. So during that time, I intuitively check in with your child's energetic field and allow the healing and guidance to unfold naturally. And every session unfolds differently. Sometimes I'm shown emotional overwhelm or nervous system dysregulation or anxiety or fear, emotional suppression or sadness, sometimes even just energetic exhaustion. And sometimes I see children who are carrying so much energetic stimulation from the world around them that their system almost feels overloaded. Particularly with highly sensitive children or neurodivergent children, I often see nervous systems that are processing far more energetically than people realize. And honestly, I even see this with my own children. One of my daughters, for example, can sometimes experience very big emotions and become deeply overwhelmed energetically. She's incredibly sensitive to the world around her and to external influences. When I tune into her field, it can feel almost like static energy that has built up around her nervous system from everything she's absorbed emotionally throughout the day. What I've personally noticed is that healing really helps soften and clear that energetic overwhelm for her. After the healing, she often settles more easily, feels calmer emotionally, and has far less difficulty falling asleep at night. And I know so many sensitive children experience this kind of energetic overload without fully understanding what they're feeling internally, which is why I believe it's so important we begin supporting children not only emotionally but energetically as well. What I often see energetically, it's different with every single session, but sometimes I'm shown chakra imbalances, energetic overwhelm, emotional heaviness. So the nervous system dysregulation, as I mentioned before, and that sensitivity, blockages. I see their aura and what's happening in their aura, where there's any tears that need to be repaired. But there's always angels, and angels are always there in the sessions. They're the ones doing the energetic repair to their auras. Also, the child's higher self guidance will come through. Sometimes archangels, ancestors, butterflies, fairies, and other elementals come through, with their own unique healing and messages. And it's really what the child needs, and they're being met at where they're at. So it's actually really amazing to witness. And I'm so grateful that I am like a bridge from these higher realms to the child and the parent. And often they are so beautiful. And the higher self guidance that comes through is so valuable. So this is one of the most profound parts of the work, is the channeling, the guidance that comes through, because it often brings through wisdom and clarity and understanding for the parent. I remember one beautiful session with a little boy around 5 years old, where his higher self brought through incredibly practical guidance for his mum. During the healing, I kept being shown that the content he was consuming and the amount of screen stimulation he was receiving was overwhelming his energetic and nervous system. His higher self lovingly guided reducing his screen time to around 2 hours per day to help him feel calmer, more energetic regulated, and less energetically overloaded. And his mum was honestly so relieved, because she had already been intuitively sensing this herself. Sometimes the most powerful part of these sessions is not only the healing itself, but the practical guidance parents receive afterwards. The actionable steps that come through can create really profound shifts for both the parent and the child emotionally. And often parents leave the session feeling like they finally have clarity around what their child truly needs beneath the surface. I recently worked with a neurodivergent child who had been experiencing huge emotional outbursts at school. I was shown during the session that his energetic system felt incredibly porous. It was almost like he was just absorbing everything around him and carrying the weight of the world. So he was just absorbing everything emotionally and energetically in his environment, so much so that his system felt completely overwhelmed and exhausted. And although externally it looked like behavior, but what it was underneath was that overwhelm, that overstimulation, that emotional exhaustion, and the inability to energetically filter what he was carrying. After the session, his mum messaged me saying, "I've noticed a big shift actually. He's been quite calm yesterday. He was fighting less with his siblings. He was listening to us, cooperating. He just felt calmer and, yeah, really just like a different child." And I think stories like this are such beautiful reminders that there is much more happening beneath the surface for children than what we see externally. So after a session, the parents receive a personalized voice note where I go through everything that I saw, I felt, everything that came through, the channeling, any guidance as well. And then also a comprehensive report, written report, that also includes all of the intuitive insights and channelings and what came through. So between the voice note and the written report, you get a really good holistic view of the session. So often the voice notes become incredibly emotional for parents to listen to, because many parents finally feel seen or validated and understood in what they've been intuitively sensing about their child. And sometimes parents tell me, that makes so much sense now. I finally understand what my child has been trying to communicate. I feel calmer myself after hearing this. Because when we begin understanding children energetically, not just behaviorally, everything shifts. We stop seeing children as difficult, and we begin seeing what their nervous system, emotions, and soul actually might be communicating. And after each session, Each child responds differently, but many parents notice shifts over the following days and weeks, such as calmer emotions, improved sleep, reduced anxiety, less emotional resistance, more cooperation, improved emotional regulation, softer energy within the home, and the children appearing lighter, more joyful, more connected, and it really brings more peace within the family dynamic. Sometimes the shifts are subtle and sometimes they're profound. But yeah, what parents often say is that my child just feels lighter. And the added bonus is that the healing actually continues to integrate 21 to 28 days after the session. So the child still receives that healing. So if you've been curious about the children's rainbow recalibration and wanting to explore whether this may support your child or you can find all the information through the links below. You can also come and join our beautiful free community, Rainbow Children of the Light community, where we talk about spiritual parenting, sensitive children, energetic support, and raising conscious kids in a heart-led way. That's through Facebook. But again, the link is below. So thank you so much for being here with me today. And I'll see you all in the next episode of Rainbow Children of the Light. Sending you and your child so much love.